Hello everyone and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I'm in a fly-by-wire library for the A320neo because after the most recent sim update 5 for Microsoft Flight Sim, I posted a comment on my last video. It's caused a lot of severe stability issues for me, and I've been able to complete, since the update on the 27th and the hotfix that came out yesterday, I've been able to complete 3 flights. And just getting into this flight, I've experienced 3 crashes to desktop on the world map alone. We're going to be doing a flight from Seattle Tacoma International Airport and of course Seattle, Washington, down to Las Vegas International and of course Las Vegas. I always forget the way to pronounce the state, but I believe you pronounce it Nevada. I believe. We're in the fly-by-wire library because I believe we're mimicking a Delta flight. However, the Delta livery I was using was that was the one. Because of the update, I've removed almost everything from my community folder. I'm switching out the libraries that I'm using for the A320. In fact, the only things in my mod folder, in my community folder, is the A320neo and whatever library I'm using. I had a Delta library in there. Earlier, I had a JetBlue library in there. Worked fine. However, so of course, before I did this, I switched out the libraries, took out JetBlue, put in Delta. That's when I got the crashes. Now I removed the Delta library, and now I didn't get a crash. Last time I tried to do this, I was in a Southwest library, and I was at stand, about to push back, and crashed. In fact, I was right here. So, live weather has been having some issues. However, according to the Fly-by-Wire Discord, I have 3 people to back it up. Live weather is fine. Might have been server side. We don't know. One major thing about this update, the Sim Update 5, it marked the release for the Xbox Series X and S release of Microsoft Flight Sim, which is a cool thing. I was flying between LAX and San Francisco earlier with multiplayer enabled, and when player names, they have a gray box around it. All right, when there's so many people combined into one small area to where that light gray box is just one black hole at an airport, that's a little concerning. Surprisingly, my sim handled it pretty well. The performance has been increased drastically, not dramatically. I'm still running on medium settings. I was testing out the graphic settings earlier in Los Angeles, and on high settings it's a bit more stutters, but it rocks about 45 FPS. Put it on ultra, 40 FPS solid, heavy stutters. So I'm back on medium. Clouds are set to ultra, and glass cockpit refresh rate I believe is set to medium. And I'm currently rocking 50 FPS, which is nice. I was flying in a JFK. I flew out of JFK a couple days ago after the update. Also was rocking 50 to 60 FPS. So this update is very nice when it works. However, I'm gonna say this: I've had this sim for about 8 months now. Got it. I think I first played it. At least I got into it more in, I think, January of this year. I experienced 1 crash to desktop. 1. And after Sim Update 5, I have experienced 11 now. A total of 12, but 11 just after the update. 3 of which happened just a couple minutes ago before this. So yeah, stability is horrible. But when it works, it's great. Getting it to work is a completely different story. We're not going to be using any air traffic control for this. I don't like default ATC anymore. I really don't. Most recent flight I did, I was on approach into KSDF, I believe runway 26. They never told me that they wanted me to land on 35 left. So here I am, 6 miles from the runway that I'm meant to be landing at, and I get my approach clearance for an entirely different runway. And then the mod kind of like died, so I had a very interesting time with that. It essentially the autopilot disconnected and it would not reconnect. I'd click the autopilot button and it would just immediately kick off. Don't know why. Now we're also on the development build of the A320neo, and it has its own issues unrelated to SU5, but it's so far been pretty nice to fly. There is one major thing that I'm not happy with. That is the heading knobs. If we hop into the cockpit, the little heading knob right here, it has two modes, managed and selected. Managed is essentially the navigation mode, whatever's in the MCDU, the plane will follow that. It'll follow your flight plan, and it'll go headings based on what it thinks. In selected mode, it's whatever you've put. We've used it before. However, I don't think this is an SU5 issue, but it is an issue nonetheless. The knob is kind of broken between switching between managed. It's like stuck in managed. And you can fix it by, it's a one-time thing though. So once you load into a flight, it's recommended to leave the flight and then join back, and that fixes it. Which actually, now that I think about it, I might do. Yeah, wish me luck here. I'm gonna do that. Yeah. Be right back. We'll join up in a little bit and get over the checklist. But I just want to refresh the aircraft, reload it so I can switch between managed and selected. So I know that there's not going to be anything wrong with the plane, you know. Yeah. Okay. I'm back. I didn't crash, but huh. Okay. So another thing that's also been heavily increased from the update is loading times. I mean, I have like 52 total mods I could put into my community folder. Most of it's liveries. And loading times before the update with those mods could be upwards of 3 to 5 minutes. Loading into an airport also could take a long time. Like, it could take, depending on the airport, of course. Like, if it's somewhere I fly a lot, I usually do most of my flying on the West Coast, simply on the West Coast of the United States, despite the fact that I live like thousands of miles from the West Coast. But like loading into like San Francisco or something, it took like a minute at most. Loading into someplace I don't fly a lot, like if I went and loaded into like Berlin in Germany, that would take a couple of minutes. And loading into a big city like New York for the first time, that also took a long time. However, with all of this, with only 2 mods enabled and even no mods, it takes like 40 seconds to load into the sim. And loading into Seattle for the first time after the update, or at least today, at least, it only took like 20 seconds, and reloading it took 5 seconds. Anyway, so now the plane should be good. So we're gonna go through our checklists here and get the plane up in the air. At least attempt to. I don't really have faith in this. I might seem monotone. I don't have too much faith in this plane because of all the crashes I've been getting. Which also brings me to something else I'll talk about once we're in the air. Do you still work? No, I still can't do anything with you. The flight director turning off and on. Turning on upon startup is a known issue. Don't know when it's going to be fixed, but it is a known issue. Now, I also haven't tried this since the update, but I'm going to try it now. Okay. Oh, it just crashed? Nope. Oh, but man, that's laggy. I'm going to close that back. Lowered my FPS from 55 to 40. See what people mean when it was laggy. So we're not going to do anything. But if we hear the beeps, you know, that's okay. 2, 3. Let's see if you're bugged right now. First flight I did today, I kept on getting cabin chime on repeat until I turned off these signs. Then I reloaded the aircraft, and then it was fine. So yeah, I think for now in the development build, you should just reload the aircraft. I would also like to add the stable build on the recent sim update is broken, like entirely. The plane does not work at all. FlyByWire has removed it from the in-game marketplace, so Xbox users, I'm sorry, but you cannot use this plane at this time. I don't know when it's going to be fixed. I think they're working on a new stable build now. Might be this new development build, I don't know. But if you're on PC, you have to use the Fly-By-Wire installer, which you can find on their website or on their Discord, and that's what you can download the development build from there. It's not necessarily recommended because it is a development build. There's more bugs. However, it's from my experience, it's never given me really any issues that can't be fixed. So I would say it's okay. Now we're gonna load up our EFB here. Well, that does that. If you listen very closely, you can actually hear this hydraulic pump. Like if I turn it off, it might be difficult to hear over the fans and stuff, but if you listen very closely, you're gonna hear a small whine when I turn this on. So I'll shut up and you can hear it. And if you can hear it, it's I don't know why, but I find that cool. You can hear the hydraulic pump working. I don't know how realistic that is, but you know, it's nice to have. So if we look at the EFB here and we just load in our SimBrief flight plan, this is the new version of the whole EFB. I love it, to be honest. It adds in a whole bunch of features. You got your performance, your top of the you have your top of descent calculator, huh? All right, and your landing, you know, like how much runway you need to use and stuff. If you have a Navigraph account, you can sign up for it. Or not sign up, but you can sign into your Navigraph account and access charts and stuff directly from the EFB here instead of using the toolbar. And then this is also a VAT sim. It shows you the nearby frequencies, the nearby active frequencies, and I think that would be very useful for VAT sim flying. So like if you're handed off to another controller and you forget it, like forget the frequency, instead of, you know, clogging up the frequency, being like, oh, hey, what was that? You can just look on here and kind of see if you can remember. Overall, very nice. Sorry, I was taking a drink. And we got our new settings menu, which yeah, it's a settings menu. I don't know what you want from me. But yeah, you got a whole bunch of stuff. Your SimBrief username is also now saved permanently, so you don't have to worry about inserting that. You put it in, you don't have to worry about it. You can change your weight units, your barometric stuff. You got your thrust reduction, altitude, acceleration stuff. Everything for like your weather and your ATIS and stuff. So yeah, you can change your @IRS and DMC self-test time. It's all unreal for me. You can change everything here. One thing you have to do is you have to calibrate your throttle. I've already done that. I think that'd be very useful if you have like a thrust master quadrant, a TCA quadrant, the Airbus quadrant. I think it'd be useful. But yeah, let's insert our flight plan. Yeah. So we're gonna go through the normal. I believe the AirX cycle is updated. Yeah, we got a new nav database, so that's cool. But let's do this. People were complaining on the Discord that it would show up, airports would show up as not in database. So I'm gonna just, yeah, that's good. So, all right, so that is good. And our alternate is KONT. And we are Delta 2987. Again, we don't have a Delta livery because of the 2987. That was wrong. Because of the stability issues that I was having. It might have just been with that specific livery, which it probably was. The recent update did break a lot of the liveries, unfortunately. It also broke the Project Megapack A330, which sucks because I was going to use that for a long haul flight. Can't do that anymore. They said they're working on it. No offense to anyone on the PMP team who made the A330. I don't believe you. Before we fill out our actual flight plan, that we're gonna do that. So we have a block fuel of 7,569 kilograms with a minimum takeoff fuel of 7,369, and we have less than that. So we're gonna put in like, I'll put in like 9,000 kilograms of fuel. So one thing that I am a little nervous about is the live weather. I am trying live weather right now. I don't know if it's gonna work. It's been having some issues the past week. I thought it'd be fixed with SU5, was not fixed with SU5, but essentially the temperatures at cruise alt, they're meant to be very, very, very low, like negative 40 to 50 degrees Celsius. However, recently, we have been experiencing less than ideal temperatures. And by that, I mean, you ever want to be at 38,000 feet and have temperatures higher than the human body can withstand? Because plus 50 degrees Celsius is what we were seeing, and that severely affected of course, the actual functionality of the plane. Increased, your airspeed was lower, you couldn't climb as well, and your fuel rate here, normally on climb, this is like 1,900 to 2,000 kilograms per hour. You ever seen it go to 4,000? I almost ran out of fuel because of that. Had to set to a preset. But I was, like I said, it's fixed. Should be. What did I clear? Or was there 2 user waypoints? Did I oh, screw it, no. I'm uncomfortable with that if I cleared something I wasn't meant to. I'll just put it back in. Okay, yeah, there were 2 user waypoints. That's odd. Never seen that happen. So direct to Ryan. Again, I don't know how this is gonna go. I love Flight Sim. However, Microsoft, you have done some stuff to it. Like, again, when it works, I've said this many times, when it works, it's fantastic. I love it when it works. The update is great when it works. But it's difficult to actually get it to work. And I think that might be the first time in this channel's history that I managed to insert an airway and not have to put it in manually. Arrival. So there's no ILS for 19 left, I don't think. Yeah, no. So, unfortunate, to say the least. Yeah, no. So we're gonna do an RNAV approach by the Sunst 4. Never heard that before. Might not be in here. Not in here. Oh no. Ah. Let's just... Arrival. RNAV, 19 left. What did I choose? I can't remember. But I think I just, ooh, no. I'll just, like, go through this. I mean, that's... could be worse. Did I break it? What'd I do? Sorry. Forgive me. Oh my god. LAS, arrival. RNAV, 19 left. I'm like, nope. Don't do that. Man, I wish you'd just not do that. Let me, like, be easy on me, okay? It's been a long day. Definitely not doing that. I'm, like, cherry picking right now through different stars. Oh man, am I gonna be able to find one that's, you know, nice? Actually, well, 19 is like... so yeah, you'd think there would be one. I could just not have a star. Like, I mean, that is something I can do. All of them want me to come in from the south, but I don't want to come in from the south. Can you just be nice to me here and work? Ah, what I wanted. I do want a star, though. It would be nice to have one. God, but they all want me to come in from the south and do like a 180, you know? Oh, God. I'm about to, like, redo my flight plan. Like, get a new flight plan in, but, like, change the runway to, like, 26 or something. I could do that. But you know, I want to go, I never do RNAVs. You know what? Well, actually. Fine. Maybe. We'll see. Let's go over it. God. I've never sat here going over the... actually, I take that back. That A330 almost broke me. Now, there is definitely a user. Yep. Hey there. You're never... users are not something you want. If you're setting up your flight plan and you see a user, remove it. You don't want it. They're bad. And then, yeah, okay. They are bad. Now, I'm gonna let the plane do that one. Actually, wait, no. I can just look up the frickin'... what is wrong with me? Google, man. Google. KLAS 19. I need the landing chart for it. I said I needed the chart. That's not a chart. Is it a Yankee or a... Was it left? Was it 19 left Yankee or Zulu that I chose? Stuff like this matters. Why didn't I choose? Why didn't I pay attention? This is one of those moments where it'd be nice to have a Navigraph subscription. You know, possibly the biggest thing for this would be no, I actually don't think it. I don't know. Alright, we'll just adios to that. I'm gonna check the Discord before I, like, actually take off. So, I'm actually gonna put in our block fuel from here. So, 7.569. I'll round that up to 7.6. But I'll just put it in 7.6, put that in, then boom. So let's see the Discord. No one's complaining about live weather yet again. I believe everyone's like actually going to sleep like normal people do at a time like this. I'm gonna do a flaps 2 takeoff. Transitional altitude is 18,000. V1 131, VR 132, V2 136. I'm gonna try and minimize going into external camera as much as I can. I've had issues with it. Actually, since the Mach isn't bugged, I'm not gonna set a cruise selection. Pre-selector. I'm not gonna do that. So RNAV 19 left, transitional alt 18,000. Alright. Then the flight director would go on. Now, I have noticed some bugs with this autopilot panel. Namely, the speed hold, this speed selector here, it kind of goes into managed mode, and you have to reset it back to what it was after takeoff. I don't know why. Alright, see, that's working. So, there was a bug. There's a bug. When you first load the aircraft on the sim, this is bugged. To where it essentially gets locked and managed or selected, whichever one, I don't know which. But it won't allow you to switch back between the two. And I didn't want that for obvious reasons. So that's why I wanted to reload the aircraft. That way I don't have to worry about that. There was also something else. So this is technically already in selected, but you'll see it does that. Now, that doesn't actually affect anything, even though this, I believe, means it's in managed or it's not in vertical speed. I'm gonna go ahead and set this, but it's not gonna matter. I'm still gonna have to, like... The autopilot's a little iffy. I don't know why. Not complaining about it, but just observations I've made. I believe we're ready to go. I'm gonna set a random squawk code. Because I'm not doing ATC, but I want a squawk code. I never armed the emergency lights. Big brain. But, I think I'm ready to go. Now, because I removed almost everything from my community folder, we do not have the pushback toolbar anymore. So we're going to be using this. I mean, it also wasn't working right with this. The A320neo, it was a little... Oh, man. It was a little buggy with the A320neo, so, you know, I'm kind of okay with having it disabled. It's unfortunate, but not much I can do about it. Fuel pumps go on. Ignition start. I believe we're connected then. Starting engine 2. So I've also, you can see that I was flicking around these manually instead of using my Honeycomb Bravo. The sim bugged it. My landing lights were essentially reversed. I could only have them on or off. I couldn't change this at all. It was stuck in takeoff. And same with the strobe. It was either auto or on. I couldn't turn it off. So I've taken all the switches from I've turned off all the switches on my Honeycomb Bravo. The only things that I actually use, I guess, would be the autopilot selectors and like GA aircraft, and of course the levers and the landing gear lever and the trim wheel. But switch wise, nothing. Getting a little stutters here. I don't know why, and I don't like it, but they're there. Also getting a little graphical glitch there. It's odd. So we're taking off 3-4 right, and so we're gonna be going over there. Let's see. If I open up the... Oh God. Okay. Alright. If we open up the... Okay. So yeah, 3-4 right's down there, so we're gonna be... Again, no ATC, so I'm kind of taxing on my own. I also don't have the charts up because I don't have faith that they are accurate. Not because I doubt the charts, but because I doubt the sim being accurate. The charts, they're definitely realistic. They're definitely up to date, but the sim, however, you know, not so. Now you're also gonna see this. This is a cool thing with the pitch trim. That's one tiny notch. This thing is so sensitive now. Do a flight control check. I was actually really hoping for an ILS approach so I could get better. I posted a thing on the Reddit pretty much saying like, hey, can you give me some tips for landing? And one of the big things was disconnecting the autopilot at 1000 instead of 100. Because apparently FlyByWire has implemented an auto land feature. So, yeah, I was getting warnings that the auto land was a because it was like configured for an auto land, and then I disconnected the autopilot below the altitude. It thought that it was going to like it was 200 feet. Is meant to. It thinks once you pass 200 feet, it's like, okay, I'm landing. The pilot can just sit back and relax. This is up to me, the plane. And then I disconnected the autopilot. And it's like, hey, what are you doing? So yeah, I will Oh, that's odd. That stuff were weird there. All right, so I'm gonna be whenever I do an ILS approach in the future, I'm going to try my best to disconnect the autopilot at a higher altitude, namely 1,000, and then hand fly it. Now you're going to be seeing some hand flying action on this approach into Las Vegas, because even though I selected an RNAV approach, but something I always kind of do with RNAV approaches, simply because I don't understand them fully, I don't know how to do them fully. What I do instead of actually doing a proper RNAV approach, I kind of disconnect the autopilot and just manually fly it, and that's never been ideal for me. But I do plan on becoming a real pilot, so it is something I should practice in a simulator. Maybe not this simulator, but you know, still nice thing to practice. But I essentially hand fly it. But it's led to some less than smooth landings, if you know what I mean. Some spine breaking, some just bad landings, and I don't think I've done a single nice approach or landing with it. But I shall try now. Well, correction, no. I shall try like 2.5 hours from now. I'll correct myself again. I will attempt to try maybe 2.5 hours from now, depending on if the sim works. And ooh. That's what I'll say. Because, again, I don't have faith. Alright, I've done 3 flights, and I've gotten 11 crashes. That's a bad ratio. So I don't have faith in this sim, you know, working properly. And I hate to say that, it's a great sim when it works. But again, the when it works part. Also, I don't know why. I don't know if this is a fly-by-wire issue, if it's a sim issue, but my brakes, I have them on a button because I don't have rudder pedals, and you'll see that. You know, I put in the brakes, they go in, I release the brakes, and it takes them forever to release. I don't know why it does that. Gets on my nerves. And also, listen to our new dude.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
Yeah, we got a new dude. The radar on. TKSD. Also, apparently the terrain on navigation display isn't working properly. Unfortunate. I heard they're fixing it. So, yeah. Now, because I'm actually gonna... Because that's kind of like a sharp turn, I guess. Not a sharp turn, but like, since it's a turn so soon after takeoff, I'm gonna put that at 10 miles so it's more accurate, I guess. Okay. There we go. Just realized I was meant to have dimmed the dome light, but that's okay. Do you see what I mean? The speed has dropped to 240. Now I could leave it and managed. Don't want to. Very symmetrical. I'm gonna turn on the autopilot. We're gonna go flaps 1. We're gonna go to nav mode here. 20 miles. Flaps 0. Now that clicking, that little triple click you heard, the I don't know. Don't, I'm doing a horrible mimic of it, but that is a that's the sound the autopilot makes when it disconnects. Of course, you get the beat when it disconnects, but you also get that triple click. I don't know if it's meant to do that triple click after, like, on departure when you switch on the autopilot. Who knows? Don't like it. It makes me think the autopilot disconnects. But this dark cockpit here. So I believe, according to SimBrief, I believe our estimated time en route was like 2.5 hours. Might be able to see it on the OFP. Maybe. Doubt it. Forgive me, I don't feel like going through all of that to find out. But it should be maybe be like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. SimBrief said I believe it said it was 2.5 hours. The scheduled flight time of this is like 2.5 hours. So I'll guesstimate 2.5 hours. Also realize I did not set the altimeter. So used to flying with the preset, man. I've gotten used to flying with the preset, and I don't ever have to worry about setting the altimeter because it's always 2992. But we're back on live weather. Speaking of, how's the cloud coverage? Honestly, not that bad. So I'm gonna be paying attention to this once we start getting up into the very high temperatures. I mean, high altitudes. This is gonna really, namely past like 20,000, 25,000 feet. Definitely once we get up to cruise, I'm gonna be paying heavy attention down here. I don't know what it should be at right now. I mean, if we look here, no, the temperatures at Seattle is 28 degrees Celsius. Actually, if it's that hot, I'm gonna cool down the cabin. And I mean, this is kind of like, it's dropping. The temperatures are definitely dropping as we climb, which is nice. But once we pass like 25,000 feet, if this is still like plus 20, I might switch back to a preset. Because if your temperature gets high, of course, like I said everything before, I actually already said it, so I'm not gonna go back into it. But of course, it's not meant to be in the positives up at cruise alt. It's not meant to do that, and I want to make sure it doesn't do that because I don't want to run out of fuel. Um, I okay. Let's go back to the autopilot. Why is the what? No, okay, I'm gonna be honest here. I did not plan for that to happen. That actually caught me by surprise there. Huh. So, we just experienced a cabin decompressor. Not explosive decompressurization, but, essentially we passed an altitude. The cabin was not pressurized because for some reason the door was open. And essentially, past 10,000, that's kind of like the, no. Like, this is the point where you definitely do need a pressurized cabin, or at least like an oxygen tank or something, because there's not, the oxygen's kind of thin up there. It's hard to breathe. So the oxygen masks have probably dropped in the cabin, if I'm being honest. And, essentially, the procedure for that is just descend. Like, if you get a decompressurization at all, whether it's, like, if it's any sort of decompressurization, you're just meant to descend. Descend as fast as you can without overstressing the aircraft down to 10,000 or less. And, of course, notify ATC. And in that situation, we would probably be making a return to Seattle right now. However, I'm not gonna do that. We're just gonna push on. I didn't plan for that to happen. I'm being sincere there. I've I've had to do some things in this sim that I don't plan to do. I've had to reject. I've had to abort like 2 takeoffs because sometimes when you arm, oh shoot. Speaking of, when you arm the spoilers, it had a tendency to fully deploy it. So I'd begin my takeoff roll, and then I'd get a master warning saying like, "Hey, retract your speed brake, dude." And that's only happened twice. I've never gotten a master warning, a master warning like that. I've never actually had an emergency like that in the sim, like full on. I mean, yeah, like sometimes I've just been bored. And I'm like, I wonder if I just take off and cut my, like, one of my engines or both my engines, can I actually return and land? But I've never had an unplanned one. That took me by surprise there. Huh. Alright. Don't mind me. And what's funny about that is while I was pushing back, I actually was wondering, maybe I thought to myself, should I check my, should I check the door page, see if the doors are closed? Okay, that happened. I just I think I just went blind there. What the heck? Oh man, I'm getting some lag. Might be from the weather. So now that we're in standard, we got a new ISA here. Yeah, the temperature should be good. Yeah, we're good. So let's actually look. We have 867 miles to go. 866 now. So yeah, it's a long flight. But it's good. I can't believe it. Why didn't the door close? It's meant to close when you send the jetway away. But it didn't close. Alright. Man, that like genuinely confused me. As far as I was aware, I didn't do anything wrong, and all of a sudden I got a master warning and an alarm beeping. I'm like, what? Zoom in on the eCam. Freaking cabin decompressurization. And like, I mean, I know you're meant to just descend in that situation, but I was more so just confused. The reason why it took me a minute to react is because I just, why was my question. You know, like if it was reality, I would just listen to what it said, but this is also the sim. I was like, is it bugged? Did I break something? It never, like if I went and I opened up the door manually right now, it would give me that message. But I've put quite a few hours into this plane. And I've never sent the jetway away and not had the door close automatically. I think that's why you're kind of meant to check. Also, am I flying in a cloud right now? I can't tell. But just to be on the safe side. You also see that the anti-ice actually increases the fuel rate. Like, if we look 2480 and 2500, if we turn off the anti-ice, barely dies down. Yet again, it also slightly increases your N1 speed. And I mean, we're rocking why are we rocking 90% N1? Maybe I should go open climb. Yeah, we'll go open climb. There was also a bug, I can't remember if there was a bug about open descent, I think. Let's see. I'll just pull up the dock here. I take it back. I am flying into some cloud. I know that now. Definitely turn on the NTIs. Did I see the wing from? No. A little bumpy. Oh my! Oh wow! Oh, did you see that VSI? Just jumped it. Wow. Just wow. Oh yeah, so today, July 31st, 2021, it is actually FlyByWire's birthday. It's been a year since FlyByWire started work. So yay! Alright, I think we're good. I'll put our Mach in cruising cruising speed. Once we're a little higher. Maybe, okay, that made me check that. I don't know about it. Okay, I'm seeing stars. That might be from the decompressurization, or it might be because they're real stars, but I see stars, and if I'm seeing stars, I don't think we're in a cloud, and if we're not in a cloud, we don't have to worry about icing. And if we don't have to worry about icing, guess what? Alright, we're still in a cloud. It's a thin cloud. Anti-ice, you can go off. Lower my fuel rate, please. Still can't believe I frickin' I have high school orientation and hey Siri, how many days till August 3rd? What, 3 days. Not at all prepared. Not at all. And as we pass into, oh, it's already in Mach. Well, that's nice. So we'll set our cruise speed. And then because we're in open descent, it's gonna level off, get to speed, and then continue. Now we're still in this high level cloud, man. We lost airspeed there. Could be because we have a 50 knot headwind, but I'm gonna just try to, okay. God, a 50 knot. That reminds me when I did my first flight across the Atlantic. Get like 1,000 miles away from New York. 100 knot headwind the entire time, man. It was so horrible. 100 knot headwind. So we're currently experiencing half of that in a plane that's half the size and half the power of what I was flying on that flight. I think it's half the power. I don't know the specifications of the A330. Also, I apologize for that little toolbar up here. I can't get rid of it. They bugged it. It doesn't disappear half the time. There's a mod to fix it, to get rid of it. Every time I put that mod in my community folder, I took a link straight from the dude who said, you know, this, he gave me a link. He said, this is the one I use and it works fine, so it should work for you too. Downloaded it, put it in my community folder, crash. Remove it, no crash. I don't know. But it annoys you, it annoys me just as much as it annoys you. And it is very annoying. Is there a custom toolbar? Just kill it. Kill it now. Don't pin it. I don't know, maybe if I move my mouse off screen. Yeah, okay, it's done. 60 knot headwind. We're gonna be passing over a storm from the looks of it. I hope that's not moving south. Oh, there's a big chain of storms, or not storms, but like maybe just snow. Or something across southern Canada. And a big storm cloud cell over here stretching. Big chunk of the US. I am gonna put in our cruising altitude for this, 37,000. And I need the airport elevation. I'll be specific here. 2,181. So start your descent. Now this is gonna change, of course. This is gonna change as we speed up and stuff. And it would also, because it's taking off your ground speed. So your speed across the ground, not your airspeed, not your true airspeed, your ground speed. And of course, I'm gonna be descending at 250 knots. So this is gonna technically be low, high. Oh, give me that dial-up tone. We would be starting our descent later because we would be slower. However, I'm still going to listen to this. Whatever it says, not right now, because headwind. So that would lower. I could also just begin descent like 215 miles away. Now, hopefully, as we level off, it doesn't need to use as much engine thrust. That might, I don't know though, because we got a headwind. You know, actually, well, its N1 could be 90%. I don't care what the N1 is, but I care what the fuel rate is, and the higher the N1, typically higher the fuel rate. And yeah, temperatures are looking good. Well, actually, I don't ever pay attention to truly what these are. I just know that one of them is -50. I don't suppose there's any way I can actually find out, like, what it is, other than whatever I've been looking at. Yeah, also hydraulic panel works. So that's nice. We'll set that back. Alright, N1 has lowered a bit. We got nice fuel rates. Good. Alright, so I'm going to assume that we are good. I'm gonna pop off while the plane does its thing and flies me to my destination. So see you in like 2 hours. It's gonna be like 4 a.m. when I land. Oh god. I need to get to sleep. coming back 160 miles from the airport with... No way, it's 300 still on the flight plan. Alright, it is. Wow. Either way, we're gonna go ahead and print out the weather. Man, it's laggy at cruise, I'm assuming. Oh, wow. I'm assuming that's something to deal with the, live weather. I don't know why the plane keeps jumping altitude. It makes no sense. But I can say that it's getting on my nerves. What in God's name? I'm like fighting the plane's autopilot right now. Wish I didn't have to. My God, 29 degrees. Alright. Stabilize. Alright. I'll believe you. When we're, just to give a bit more leeway with whatever the heck is happening, we'll begin our descent 120 miles out. Just give us some additional time too. And, We'll descend to an initial altitude of 10,000. Talking about this doesn't seem right. 2,110, then 15,000, back down to 2,110. Man, I'm about to go to a preset just to stop this lag. Oh my God. See, that's kind of an issue, because, you know, oh my God, I do need to look out the window, the windshield. I don't want to have my eyes glued to the instruments unnecessarily. Oh my God. What is up with the lag? I seriously might go to a preset. My GPU, CPU bottlenecks in the FPS bar. Well, oh man, it's probably the graphics card. I'll try it. I don't know. I don't want to pause mid-flight, but also, don't want 15 FPS outside now. Give me a second. I feel like if they're talking about an FPS bar, they would mean in the sim. I've seen it, but why would it be there? Might be because clouds are set to ultra. I don't know. Ah. See, if I go to a preset, it's gonna shoot my speed up, so well, God, yeah, okay, I'm going to a preset. It's too laggy. Weather off live. Preset, we can go like scattered clouds. Go! How am I descending at 1,000 feet per minute but climbing? That doesn't exactly make sense, does it? You know what? Matter of fact, screw it. I'll just go ahead and descend down to 10. 2,000 feet per minute. And I'll give some speed brake to assist. Weird. Okay, okay. Well, we're already in our descent, so let's go back to that. I don't know why the altitude kept jumping up, and I don't know why live weather decided it wanted to lag. But that happened. But we're here, we're descending. We're good. Oh my god, I'm tired though. It is 3:29 in the morning right now. I don't even think I'll be able to get to sleep after this. I mean, fun fact, so I went to bed at like 9 p.m. I was tired. I woke up an hour later. And I could not get back to sleep, and I've been up since then. I don't know how I was tired, like very tired, and only managed to sleep for an hour. But not fun. Now, I'm going to bring up the chart. And FlyByWire is down, apparently. Alright. I don't think you have charts. You do not. Oh, wait. I don't want to I can't download a chart. I would just like to view it, but I mean, well, it has to be one of these, so. Well, I mean, it's slightly different, but okay. Have that at the ready. But also plug in my phone here so it can charge before we get there. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to use live weather for a while because it's got some kinks in it. So I think I'm just gonna be stuck to presets till it gets fixed. Actually, no. Icing would not be a concern. both on this preset and in live weather. 29 degrees. Don't gotta worry about it. See, it also kind of renders our landing data that we set into the MCDU kind of useless. Because that's actual data. Like, that's data from, like, real world. It's like real world metadata. Since we're on a preset, it doesn't register. Like, you don't get it from the sim. You'd have to listen to ATIS for that. You get that from, well, actually, if I look in the settings page, pretty sure it's, what do I get it from? VATSIM. So, yeah. So it's kind of useless, but, you know, it's fine. Now, because we're doing nighttime flying, I would like if I could have the terrain, but, I don't know. You know how that goes. So we're actually going to start the approach at 6,000, as the chart says to do, instead of the 5,000. Or I could, nah, I'll do 5,000. Do 5,800, but I'm also gonna do this. Now, I do want to check out this landing calculator. Why not? Wind direction. Despite the fact that, like I said, it's kind of useless. Why not, you know? 18005. 180. Wind magnitude, like the speed. Is this? Yeah, okay, yeah, 5 knots. Temperature, 29. QNH. I think it was 3000. Or like 300. Oh, QNH. Wait, that's the is that in kilograms or what are you? Actually, a way to find that out. But I don't know. Ooh, froze. That's scary. Like, if it's in this, you know, that would make sense, but like... I mean, if it is, then it's that. Alright, runway altitude. You're making me pull up the chart. 2,181. Runway heading. 194. Dry. Reverse thrust. Yes. Overweight. No. Flaps. Full. Weight. Can't remember. We'll figure it out in a second. Let me get everything else set. Approach speed. Good question. Oh, in meters. Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna use you. I'm good. It's not worth it. So we're gonna slow our descent here. Man, I should have listened to the TRD calculator. I greatly overestimated it. That's nice. It gives you the missed approach procedure on here. Climb to 2,600 initially, then left turn to 6,000 direct to Lappin. Oh, that's nice. But we will probably not be doing that. I cannot wait. I seriously cannot wait for PMDG to release their 737. I want it so badly. It might cost $100, but I want it. I want every plane that they make, actually, that they're making for it, but it's not that much. 737, great. 747, great. Was it a 767 or a 777? Can't remember. But either way, great. I actually want it to be a 777. I'd actually like if it was a 777X. I don't know how Boeing would like that, but it'd be cool. I want those foldable wingtips, man. I'm gonna slow the descent down even further. I could chill at 8,000 for a little bit, but I don't want to do that, being honest. So I'm okay with doing a slow descent here down to 8,000. And I think I'll do the same thing here, like 500 feet per minute down to 5,300, because that would take like, take a little over 6 minutes, maybe. It depends, I guess. Either way, I'm so going to sleep after this. I'm going to force myself. I got orientation in 3 days. I start up high school in like a week. Little over a week, I think. I need to get my sleep schedule straightened out. Because I gotta wake up real early. So... one thing I'm sadly having to say is that when it does start, I'll probably not be able to record as much flight sim. Well, I won't have much time to actually be on it. I also want to get out that long haul before then, because once school starts back up, there is gonna be almost no way I can do a long haul. Almost no way. Like 8 hours minimum. There's just no way. So I'm hoping I can maybe... but it's just, that's such a big commitment, though. That I don't know if I'm ready to... I don't even know if the sim is ready to handle. Like, I would suck it up and do a long haul, but I don't know if I trust the sim. I cannot confidently say that I trust this sim enough to leave, to do a flight for 8 hours. I can't trust the sim that it won't crash. And if it does, I will have wasted 8 hours of my life for nothing. So I do not know what to do. Because I also don't want to wait like a year to do a long haul. I mean, I could just hop on like FSX and do a long haul in the 747. But also, FSX, you know, is not as great as, like, Microsoft. Like, in terms of stability, yes. I've never experienced a crash on Microsoft flights. Well, okay, I have, but only on modded freeware aircraft. So, specifically on a modded MD-90 and MD-11. But that's it. Although, I would like to put in the flight plan manually, and FSX does not allow for that. So... well, it does, but, like, not on the freeware aircraft. But also, that's another thing. They're freeware aircraft. I watched that video of the A321 in FSX. I looked at that overhead, and I just... no. I don't want to go back to that. But the 747, it has a more realistic overhead and cockpit, but it lacks a lot of the functionality. Okay, do you work? Or do you not work? Because I don't know. And I wish I did. See those mountains looming in the distance? That's actually concerning me. I might climb back up to 10,000. So I know I'll clear those mountains. Yeah. 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 I don't want to risk smacking those mountains. And not knowing whether or not I should trust this terrain. The terrain radar. People were saying it was broken. Some people were saying it was working. Some people were saying it was working, but like sometimes. So I'd rather be safe than sorry, considering I can't see much. I'm kind of using the lights of Las Vegas as a guide. If I can see the lights, I know I'm above. If I can't see the lights, I might want to worry. Las Vegas, I've never been so happy that you are what you are. The casinos, the amount of casinos you have, it's really helping me right now. But I think we'll be good now. Hopefully. That'll speed us up too. Okay. So, okay, well, it was on a frequency. You saw that, right? It was like 111.3 before we took off. As far as I'm aware, for this approach, we don't have to set in a frequency. I don't think. I don't know. I really need to look over an RNAV tutorial. I probably should. Yeah. I don't know. Alright, dude, hey, you've taught me to fly this A320. You taught me how to do an ILS in it. Just teach me. Alright, oh, this is a 33-minute video. I don't think I have 33 minutes. Okay. So, Um, don't mind me. Does anybody here have like a brief sum? Isn't this something you never want your pilot to be doing? In the cockpit while he's flying, you know, going over a tutorial video on YouTube as to how to fly a plane. But you know, welcome. Okay, no. I'll watch that after the. I need the freaking chart. There we go. I'll watch that after we've touched down, and after this is done. That's when I'll watch it. Okay, I need this. So 3 degrees and begin at 5,300. 6,000. Okay, well, this, I don't have a perfect approach chart here. In fact, I'm missing out a whole waypoint. So I think I will descend down to 5,300 once we get a bit closer. There she is. This landing might kill me. We're actually going to go ahead and bring it down to 5,300. I'm going to stay in the descent. We'll lower our descent rate a little bit. Nah. Put it back. Put it back. See if we can see any landmarks. I don't know if we're going to be able to because of this freaking cloud coverage, but I think I will do okay. Actually, you know what? No. Yeah, let's do 500 feet per minute. It's a what? We got like how many miles left? 40? Yeah, I guess it makes sense. 20 up, 20 down. Yeah, we're good. This is actually a way better marker of saying how far away we are rather than seeing how far I am directly from the airport, because this of course takes into consideration the entire flight path. Don't know why it took me so long to think that as a possibility, but it has. We're gonna set auto brake to medium, and yeah, we'll do what we normally do, or try our best to. 10 miles, flaps 1, 8 miles, flaps 2, 5 miles, flaps 3, gear down, 4 miles, flaps full. We're going to try and do that. However, it's going to be a bit more difficult without a DME, which I could probably set up if I knew how. Because again, I don't know how to do an RNAV. So this is kind of more of a visual. My basic understanding of how to do an RNAV is you click this button and you click this button. That's the, I've watched this video before, but I rarely do RNAV approaches. I do ILS whenever I can, and I very rarely do an RNAV. So I always forget, and I've also barely paid attention to it, because again, I mostly do ILS. But the one thing that I do remember is you click this, and you click that. Oh, because it tells you your degrees, like, your... That's smart. Anyways. That actually is, yeah, flight path angle. Okay, yeah, that makes way more sense. So, yeah, okay. Well, I think this would still show up if I disconnected the autopilot. So I might still disconnect the autopilot either way. Also, because we're at 500 feet per minute, I don't need the speed brake. Although I am going to put in the speed brake so I can slow down here. So a 3-degree angle is what we're going to try and maintain. So we're going to begin about when we reach the Mozos waypoint here. That's kind of, according to this, Mozos is roughly 10 miles out. So that's when we're going to begin the descent onto final, and that's when we're also going to put out flaps 1. Maybe a little bit before that, just so we have not a notch of flaps out. But that's what we're going to do. Hey, terrain, work? Air cloud. I don't know whether or not I can trust it. I'm gonna keep my hands on the ready here. If I hear a terrain alarm, I would go into an external camera and check, but I have a bad history here with Sim Update 5. But I think we're good, because I see lights. And that is my guidance. Lights. But I think we're good. We're probably good. We should be good. I don't think this will help at all, but like, maybe it'll illuminate the ground a little. No. Okay, yeah, we're good. We're good. Yeah, we're good. Turn that off so I can see the flight path. But yeah, we're good. We're good. We're fine. We're good.
2,500.
Nice. I'm gonna have to really put my manual flying skills to work here. Again, every time I've done an RNAV, and by every time I've manually flown the A320, the landings aren't the best. They're not the smoothest. Don't expect much from this landing. If you're expecting smooth, you've come to the wrong place. Now I'm gonna.
2,500.
Should I go? If I go manage speed, yeah, let's. Are we in approach phase? Yeah. So the plane should know it shouldn't be too high speeds. So I'm going to attempt to go manage speed. And let's see what happens. So managed speed is essentially the plane will fly what it thinks it should be at, or what it knows it should be at. As far as I'm aware, that's not something you do. You don't insert like speeds of what it should be at what waypoint. It kind of thinks of it as on its own based on what it's configured in and what you're doing. So if you're coming in for landing, it knows that, hey, it should be slowing down, and hey, we're about this distance, so I should be about this speed for the flaps, things like that, I think. So we're gonna go with managed. I've never used managed speed before, so who knows how this will go. Okay, wow, I barely see. So again, at Mozo's, so I'm going to attempt what should happen is when I click the approach mode, I should be able to pitch the nose up and down, and the plane should not be like, hey, chill out. I really wish, okay, it's set to 134. I'm assuming that's like our landing speed. So it's set to that, but it's, you know, it's slowly getting its way there. We're gonna go ahead and go flaps 1. I'm doing this managed speed just so I have one less thing to worry about. Now, I don't know. If I click approach phase, does that also kick me off the flight plan so I have to fly it manually? It might do that. Well, it's now or never here. It's trying to do an auto land. Yeah, okay, no. I gotta disconnect the autopilot. It won't let me pitch down. I don't know how to do. Okay, I don't know how to do an RNAV. Also, hey, where's my flight path angle? Okay, so that should give me, yeah, that vertical to maintain 3,000 feet per minute. I mean, wow, I'm so used to that. To maintain, they are pretty, I think I'm screwing that up.
2,500.
I am. I'm a big brain. Ooh, put that back in flaps 1. The speed breaker. Plane, I would appreciate if you would not. Again, after this, I'll watch like a guide. Oh, what the? Right? Okay, I am gonna go. Put that down. I'd appreciate if you'd shut up. I'll switch off the flight directors. That's getting on my nerves. Ah, because the gear wasn't down. Well, that's rude of you. Being honest, I'm gonna on the speed brakes. Make sure we're on the wheel cage. So again, no air traffic control. We're doing this all on our own. We are not lined up with the runway. I'm gonna try my best
1,000.
not to give her any rudder input at all until we're on the ground. The rudder is a very sensitive beast in the air. I'll barely move my stick left and the rudder will kick in because it's the way the stick is designed. Well, according to the PAPI lights, I'm too low. but I feel too high. Well, I mean, now we're... Again, I feel too high.
500.
I mean, it says I'm too low, but,
400.
like... This is a runway, correct?
300.
I mean, it looks like a runway. It's lit up like a runway. Okay, I'm too low.
200.
Alright, I need to stop making jokes and to actually focus to get this bird on the ground.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. Retard.
Little stutters there. Reverses are engaged and the spoilers are deployed. On the rollout, brake fan will go on. And 60 knots, thrust reversers disengaged. 40 knots, auto brake off. Runway turn off lights on, and we'll go ahead and retract the flaps. Okay, not my finest landing or approach, but considering I was hand flying that thing in, which I never do, I think I did okay. I had some stuttering there on touchdown, which I think was a bit annoying. It's hard to judge how smooth the landing is when the second you touch down, the game kind of freezes. A little bit difficult, but you know, I managed. What did I just turn on? Ice indicator and standby compass, I think that it is. Alright, well, didn't want to, turn that on, but alright. Weather radar off. TCAS to standby. Brake temps 315, 340, 335, 325. Go ahead and turn all of this off. When we're on the ground, I don't think we can actually mess with this. Yeah, no. Now that the flight director is on, at least. And APU start, master switch. 1, 2, 3. APU start. Okay, now I've got to manually taxi to the terminal building, which I think would be over that way. So, I have a rudder trim. I'm gonna reset that. Parking brakes released. Let's taxi. So I will go over some RNAV tutorials. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do an RNAV. Which I probably should. RNAV is a lot more common than an ILS. Most big hubs, which we fly to, has ILS. I also don't know why I tried to do an auto land. I'm pretty sure it's only meant to do an auto land if there's an ILS. Because an ILS is meant to be a precision approach. You don't want your plane to land automatically for you when it's on a non-precision approach. But especially an RNAV, I don't think auto land would be good for that. But again, I'm not a real pilot, so... And again, I apologize for that frickin' toolbar. I hate it too. It was annoying me every time I looked at my screen. I hate it. I wish it would go away, but it won't. I'll try out the mod. Like, I might try and load in with just the mod that's meant to disable it and see if it works, which I hope it would, but I don't know. It's hard telling, to be honest. think that's good. Parking brake on. Runway turn off lights and taxi lights off. Seatbelt signs off. AP probes off. AP bleed on. Crew oxygen supply and electric pump on. Engine master 1 and engine master 2. Bada bing, bada boom. 2 hours, 21 minutes, 28 seconds. Alright, and then navigation logo lights, beacon light, strobe light off. Come over here and we'll just send the jetway. This time, alright, let's see. Can you open the door on your own? Let's see. You can open the door on your own, but you can't close the door on your own. Alright. Alright. Unlock the door, we'll switch that on. Bright. We'll discard that, go to the MCDU menu, ATSU AOC menu, messages received, and we'll clear the metadata. And the transponder can go off. Wheel temps are all below 300, so we can turn the brake fan off. And because we don't have to worry about, like, the baggage truck, since it's not loaded in and I don't feel like dealing with it, we'll go ahead and do the shutdown checklist. So, oh, I forgot to turn off the fuel pumps. Alright, and then we'll just... And now I will go into the external camera and attempt to get an external shot. That will definitely be ruined by the toolbar. I wait to save this to the last instead of looking at it mid-flight because I'm worried of that crash. Alright, we're good. God, why can't you just disappear? Just go away, toolbar. You're ruining the take. But there's nothing I can do to stop you. So, whatever. Screenshot. That'll be the thumbnail. Hey! Traditional Las Vegas. Oh! God. Alright, well, that's that. 4 hours. Not 4 hours. 4 a.m. I'm tired. I'm gonna upload this. And I'm asleep. Like I should have done 4 hours ago. Thank you for watching. I will attempt to make more of this. Email Microsoft, tell them to get this stable, and I will feel more comfortable doing so. Thank you for watching. See you next time.